Okay, well, I've got a data set that I've just managed to get hold of a data set for some data about cars in the US a little while ago, and it's not really an important data set, but we're just gonna use it to show you how you can read data from an Excel document or whatever, or from just your documents on your computer into R, and then perform some statistical analysis on that data. Nothing too complicated, but just the basics of how to do this. First thing is we have to know that this data, know what this data is, have access to this data. So I'm going to call the data data.cars, and I'm going to assign that to read.csv, and then for R to read the data, we have to open up these quotation brackets and put in the name of our data, how it's saved in your computer. Okay, so it's going to look for this cars.csv in my files. Note that if it doesn't come up once you put this in, then you just need to make sure that R is looking in the to do. And I'm going to put in something extra here, header equal true, and what this tells R is that the top row of my data set is the column names. Okay, so it's separate from the rest of the data, and the column names in this data are model, type, min.price, price, max.price, mpg.city, mpg.highway. All those are quite self-explanatory. The first one gives us the model of the car, second one's the type, so whether it's a big, small car, average size car, compact car, van. I think those are the types, we'll see here later. Min price, self-explanatory, max price too, and then price is just like the average price. mpg.city is the miles per gallon when driven in the city, and the last one is the mpg.highway, which is the miles per gallon when driven on the highway, essentially. Okay, so this now reads the data, and then what we do is we use the command attach, and then we put in the name of our data set, and that's what we called it in R. So I assigned this to data.car, so we're no longer talking about this file that's been assigned to this variable here. Okay, and now we've attached that. What that does is allows us to just refer to the column names. Okay, so it's calling it attach is quite nice. It's essentially attaching the data set to R. Okay, so the top line reads it, this attaches it. Now we can use it. One thing I want to make a comment on is, if we think about it, price is going to be numerical data, and miles per gallon the same, but type is like quantitative data, like big, small, this, that. So that's one thing to be aware of when you're performing data on this, is that we've got lots of different types of data going on in this one data set. First thing we're going to do is table, and then we're going to put type in, and what this is going to return is a table but just containing the types. Okay, so there we go. So the types we have are compact, large, mid-size, small, sporty, van, and it's given them the number of cars we have in each category. Okay, so that's quite nice already. Now we're going to put in boxplot, and I'm going to do price, and then tilde table. And what's quite nice about this that you may not have seen before, because I don't think we've gone through it in this, but this tilde sign is like, it's almost saying like, let's look. Well, I want to look at a box plot of the price with respect to the table. Type, sorry. Okay, so the box plot, we want to look at price with respect to type, so it's going to split the data into each of the types. So it's going to put a box plot for the price of the 16 cars that are compact, and so on. And you see this now. Okay, if we make this a bit bigger, but try not to get out of the range of the screen recording. Okay, this has got some anomalies on for van, but you can see it's got compact, large, mid-size, small, sporty van, and then it's got a box plot of the price. So that's quite nice that we can consider. We've got this large data set, but we don't just have to plot box plot of all the data and then we've got all this crazy stuff going on. We can really break it down into specific things that we want to see. We want to consider the price. We want to see what if large cars are more expensive, if sporty cars are more expensive, if vans are more expensive, what if large cars have more varying price, so you can get some really cheap ones and some really expensive ones. Where if you look, the vans are very much, seem to be squeezed in here, but then these anomalous results seem to come from the fact that we don't have much data, so we can't really pick up on the trends, all these sorts of things. You have to be able to break down your data, and R allows you to do that. You can compare two columns, you can work with two columns, you can go a bit larger, you can do all sorts of little things. Next example we're going to look at is something slightly different. So we're going to do mpg dot highway, and we're just going to say greater than or equal to 30. This is just a logical expression, so what our returns here is a vector just saying whether the miles per gallon of each car is greater than 30 or not. Okay, and this will be useful in the next step. Okay, so it's just a vector full of true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. But now we set some. Now we put in price, square brackets, mpg dot highway greater than equal to 30. Close the square brackets, and what this is going to do is it's going to get the price of all the cars for which the logical expression here is true. Okay, so that was the point in putting this logical expression in first. Let me put this in, and it will find the price. You see how we get way fewer bits of data here. We didn't have to put this in. If we just put this in here, we'd get the same, but I just wanted you to see that if you just type in a logical expression, what you get back is just a vector of true and falses, alright? Which is nice, and we can do all sorts of logical expressions. Maybe we'll look at that a bit more, I think. Yeah, in the next few videos we'll probably do some more specific things with this data, maybe actually, yeah, and use this data set to run through all the sort of things we can do, simple things we can do in R. And then finally, last thing we're going to do in this video is we can just get a nice summary of the price. Maybe I should have given this a name, but it's alright, we can type it in. Highway. Okay, and then we can get some summary statistics for the prices of the cars which have greater than 30 miles per gallon on the highway. Okay, so the minimum price is, and the price is in thousands by the way, is 7,400 and so on, and we get all these sort of stats. We've seen summary before, but anyway, hopefully you can start to see the type of things we can look at in a data set like this, with lots of different rows and columns, which could look quite scary just as one big sort of matrix, but we can look at all these little individual columns, compare them, look at some conditions, and really get down to what we want to know. Obviously the problem with this data set is I'm not really too bothered, and I'm sure none of you are interested in this random collection of cars in the US from whatever, sometime in the 1900s, but when it comes to analysing when it comes to learning R, it can often be helpful to actually be looking at real data and doing the sort of things that you might actually want to do rather than just sort of trivial exercises. So that's why I think this is a good idea. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know down in the comments. But for now, that is it, and I hope